season of Other Duties as Assigned. We've had a great run, had 3 great seasons already in the books, and moving into a 4th season as we start this new school year. And I was trying to really focus on what could a new season look like. What could be, we've gotten into a lot of really interesting topics kind of in this short form, 10-minute window of what could this look like. And I tried to think of, what other insights could I provide, what other opportunities to talk to some guests and kind of find like a good unifier, something to bring it together. And, when I thought about that, it really, in what my year was going to be like, the word new kept coming up to me. As I'm transitioned into a new role, in a new office, I've got new responsibilities as a principal, but now I also get to think about all the other things that are new. It's a new school year. What does that mean for new students? What about for new staff, new to teaching? So there's a lot of newness I felt like we could dive into and really have some fun conversations with folks, and also just to continue to provide kind of the insight that I find through my role and my job, and to be able to share that with others is really important to me. So as I think about this new job, this new role, where I am, it also gives me a chance to kind of give you a little bit of a behind the scenes, what things have looked like. In this first few days, I officially took over at the beginning of the month, but I've been on the job since graduation, really kind of getting things rolling. A lot of planning took place even back from when I was named until the summer. So there was a lot of kind of planning and those kind of things going on. I kept a lot of documents, tried to organize what was going to be my priorities, what were going to be the things that we talked about. We had a great kind of staff, administrative staff work session in the month of June, and kind of sat down and went through some of the things that were important to me, what was important to those guys, what were some things that we wanted to keep the same, what were some of the things that we wanted to tweak and change, and maybe just try to find ways to improve and get a little bit more focused on being professional learners and educators here at our school. And so that we put a lot of time into that. That led to some workflow, and you can't see my whiteboard over there, but it's got lists of who's doing what and what's important and what needs to happen so that we can be ready for kids, which for us, kids happens in just under 2 weeks. And so we got a lot of planning to happen, a lot of action that still needs to happen so that we're ready for that. But that's been exciting. And as we've come in the last couple days, we revisited those notes, those meetings, and kind of, all right, what needs to happen this week? Our team has done a really great job of collaborating and kind of jumping in. A lot of people doing new things. That's another part of this job is, or this podcast, is we'll be able to talk about what those new things look like. For me, I still am doing I'm helping, I'm teaching a lot with the things that I've done in the past, and sharing with our team, who are in new roles, like, hey, here's something I need you to be working on. Here's something I need you to focus on. Let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how to get this information out of PowerSchool, or how to do this in a Google form or whatever. And I think that's been really good. That's probably my favorite part of being an educator, is teaching. And I never want to pass an opportunity to do that. I think additionally, as I've moved in this role, a lot more emails, a lot more, phone calls, people wanting permission for things or questions about things, or what do you think about things? And so that's been fun. I like that part. I like problem solving. I like looking for solutions. So that's been really good. It's kind of different without that safety net of having the principal to go to ask questions, but that's also really empowering. You're empowered when you are, you're in the top chair to be able to make those decisions, solve those problems, and you do that with your team. You do that with the people you're working with, the people you trust that are right next door. I think that's really important too. Part of being in a new job is having a new office. So I've had fun getting it the way I wanted. Adding our vision of what we're trying to do here about bringing joy to learning, and putting up some wallpaper was fun, and moving some furniture. I built my desk in the wood shop at home, and so just a little bit of those things have been kind of fun too. to kind of create a new space. I've been in the same office for 11 years. So there was some packing and some throwing away and some getting rid of some files and getting rid of some paper files that predated me in the office that people had left behind. So I had to deal with those things as well. And I think that's been fun. I think it's been good to kind of feel that newness and freshness. I think when people come in the building, our teachers are coming back in a little bit here and there, as well as some of the other administrators in the district have been around, and they can feel that newness too. And that's kind of fun and exciting. Being new in a new spot, there's some energy that comes out of that. And I think one of the challenges and one of the things that I'm really focused on is how do I take that energy and that excitement that I'm feeling, that hopefully our staff will be feeling, and how do we capitalize on that? How do we really make some positive momentum, and how do we really move the needle on some things, and really take advantage of that positive momentum and vibe that we've got going on. So I think that's the excitement of newness, but I think it's the challenge of newness is how do you sustain that? And so that's, when I'm jotting down in my book and making notes and thinking about things, those are definitely parts of that are really high priority for me, is how do I turn the newness and the excitement about end of July for us this year. Usually, it could be August to those first days of school, that first month of school. How do you keep that rolling in October and November and January and February, for goodness sakes, the longest month of the year? And so it's exciting. I hope you want to tune in, hear some more stories and talking about the new approach here we have, the new position that I'm in. And then I'm going to bring in other people who are in new roles or can give insight into those new roles and new things and just the newness of a school year. And I'm also going to chronicle a little bit what this first year has been like for me and try to share some of those insights and try to help with some of those things as we go. So thanks for tuning in. I know if you're watching this right when it drops, everybody's kind of looking to the beginning of the school year and are excited, hopefully, and also worried about that everything's going to get done. But keep the faith and keep moving forward one step at a time, and have a great last couple weeks of the summer and a great first day of school. And thanks for tuning in.